Hey guys, Michael with Juggernaut Weld Fab. Today we're going to be going over how to redo a headliner in a car. So first off, I ordered this fabric online and it came folded up and had some really hard creases in it, right? So what I did was took my wife's steamer that she uses for dresses and clothes to get wrinkles out, and I'm going over this thing and it worked really well. So I've already done that. You can see it stopped steaming because I'm out of water here, but I've already done it and it came out really nice. Got all those hard creases out of it. So now what we're gonna do is make sure, first off, your fabric is gonna be big enough to cover the whole piece that you're doing. The first fabric I ordered, I didn't realize was too narrow. I just looked at one of the dimensions and it was too narrow, so I had to reorder it. Now this is just a cheap, I think this was like 35 bucks or something, but it's already got the backing foam on it. This is for a foxbody Mustang. This is the headliner itself, and it's basically like chipboard with a foam liner on it, okay? I opted to order the foam backing type instead of just the regular material, just because I feel like this stuff is easier to lay down. It's more forgiving than the thin stuff, because once your glue sets up, I mean, you're into it, you know, you're invested in it. So let me grab the glue that we're gonna be using. I've got a couple of different types of glue. So Super 77 is one of them, and that works really well for upholstery. The big thing, the 3M, I don't like that stuff because it'll actually soak through the fabric and you'll see it, you'll see the glue. So that's very important. You want to kind of let this glue get tacky before you start pressing down and spreading out your material. Otherwise it'll soak through and you'll see dark spots in your liner. So this one is 777X. This is made by Polymat and it's especially for upholstery. So what we want to do is lay everything out, make sure we've got enough room. What I like to do is kind of just, like I said, smooth it out. Make sure that you're familiar with all the contours that are going to be in here. And then it's honestly easier with two people, but I'm alone today. So let's start like this. I like to start in the middle. And actually, first off, let me show you this. So you can take a test piece, say this corner that is not going to be visible. We're going to end up trimming that off. Let's go ahead and hit that with your adhesive, and we're going to wait and see if it shows through the other side. Now I sprayed a little bit of excess, it kind of came over it, but I just want to see if it's going to show through. This stuff's really stringy compared to the Super 77 or Super, the hell ever it is, Super 77. But I can feel that it's nice and tacky. This stuff tacks up really fast and it is not showing through. It's not showing a dark spot. So that is very good. So I'm gonna go ahead and peel this back. Like I said, we're gonna start roughly in the middle, and what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna spray this on the backer instead of the fabric, just in case it soaks through. So it goes on really stringy, which is a good thing because it spreads out really well. And you're wanting to saturate the entire thing. Make sure your edges are nice and coated. Like I said, once you're committed, you're committed. They wanted quite a bit. I mean, I think it was going to be close to $300 and something for a new headliner for this car, so I wasn't about to do that. So now, like I said, you want to make sure you got enough on the edges. And now, let us go this direction. And we're gonna start in the center. And I like to come from underneath and start pressing that down. Come, kind of fold it back as you're doing it. Like I said, it's a lot easier with two people, but we are all alone today. You can, if it's still tacky, which, like I said, you want to move quickly, because if there's a spot that you get wrong, you can still peel this stuff back without peeling up the foam backer that's on the actual headliner itself. You want to get out all your wrinkles. Looks like we got some fuzzies on there, but it's okay. That stuff will come out of there. And you're gonna notice, you know, we've got a few reliefs here. We've got one for the dome light. We'll have two up here for the visors. But we'll cut those out with a razor knife after we do this. So now, go ahead and fold back the other direction. And what I like to do is come, peel it back just a little bit past where you glued, okay? Because you want your joint there, your seam, to be completely covered in glue. You don't want to miss any. So we're gonna go ahead and get that real tight into that corner there. And this stuff is pretty darn close to what professional upholstery shops use. They have spray gun systems that mix a two-part glue together. And some of it is steam activated, actually. It won't dry up and firm up until it's hit with a steam gun. But this stuff is made for exactly what we're doing right here. The guy in his shop just trying to save a little bit of money, and the whole theme with my car has been do everything myself. You know, the motor is being built by somebody else, and they're amazing. But everything else, all the fabrication, all the interior, the paint, everything, we are doing in-house. Like I said, you want to get plenty on there. But you also want to be careful of what glue you use. That Super 77 is pretty good, but it's not like this stuff. It'll saturate your material. And that's another reason why I went with the foam backer type instead of just the thin material, because this is much more forgiving. Make sure you don't have any glue on your fingers. And I'm just waving back and forth, because this is contoured Got a little wrinkle there. And those creases, like I said, that steamer worked really well. I'm surprised at how well it worked. But you can still see a little bit of a crease in there. So what I'm going to do is after this sets up, we'll go ahead and hit the entire thing with the steamer again, and that should relax that fabric. This is the time you want to kind of check your corners and your edges to make sure they're saturated. Oh man, I sprayed my beanie. You definitely don't want to get this on anything that you don't intend for it to stick to, because it works. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this edge. And we're actually going to wrap this around that edge. Nope. Like I said, if it's tacky, you can still pull it. So make sure you get it good and tight. You don't want to get it so tight that you lose your shape of your board. Yeah, this stuff is good. I really like it. The 3M, like I said, the 3M spray adhesive, do not use that. We want this to overlap. And what we're going to do is we're going to tuck it down around that board so that when it goes in the car, we've got a little bit of overlap underneath of that board. So if we just cut it exactly even with this, you have the chance it's going to peel back on you. Now, this car specifically does have trim that goes around it, which helps a lot with that. And depending on your car, you may not have room to tuck underneath of there. You may have to cut it even with it, but I just feel like if it's overlapping a little bit, then you got more of a chance of it not peeling back on you at some point. All right, now you can see we've got everything trimmed. Gonna go ahead and leave about 1.5 inches excess to fold under, okay? And like I said, I didn't want to pull too tight, because if you fold this board up too much, when you go to put it in and fit the contour of the vehicle, it may be a problem. It may try to stretch too much. Now you can see we have a dome light that goes in here. So what I'm gonna do is take an X-Acto knife, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut an X in this both ways. You wanna try to keep it as straight as possible with that corner. And you don't wanna go too much, but you wanna get pretty close to that corner, okay? So that you can fold this under. And your light should have a bezel on it anyway, to where you shouldn't have to worry about this folding back on you. So you can see, I'll show you. You just cut an X, right? And then you will go ahead and you'll fold your corners around this way. Just fold your triangles in, glue them to the back of the headliner. And we should have 2 more holes. Now, let me figure out which side was the front now, because I glued and wrapped my material over it. Yeah, that's the back side. You can see how far I overlapped. I'm just gonna run my fingers across this to find, I wanna say it's this side. Yeah, that's the contour. So we've got 2 map hole pockets here where, or not map pockets, but I'm sorry, visor holes here for our sun visors. Now, the only thing is I'm putting a cage in my car, and it's gonna have a windshield bar, and those visors are not gonna fit. I'm not gonna be able to fold them down because of that bar. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave them filled so it looks like it was made that way. I'm trying to keep this thing super clean. Now let me find my glue and we'll go ahead and glue up these pieces. Wherever I set that can. Oh. Now, like I said, this stuff sprays out of this can so stringy. You've really got to be careful that you don't get it on the surface that you're trying to keep. So I'm just barely spurting this thing so it doesn't come through and get on my visible part. Pull that back and hold it. Pull that back and hold it. All right, and now that looks nice and neat. We've got our finished product, and we've got to get this thing in there before I weld up the cage, because it's just not gonna fit back in there without it, I don't think. I can measure the windshield and see, because I'm gonna have them pull, the glass company pull those out, the front and rear glass. It just makes the cage that much easier to TIG weld up. So yeah, that is replacing a headliner 101. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. Please hit the subscribe button. You know, 99% of this might be useless, but hey, you might get that 1%. Thanks for watching.